Greetings, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Topic UFO. I am your host, Rick Schooler. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Red Planet. Now, for those of you that have been watching Topic UFO for some time now, you'll know that we've touched on this subject before in the past. But to be honest with you, I've always heard so many definitions regarding this topic. It was a little confusing for me, to say the least. But tonight, our guest is Carlos Esquerda, and he is going to be joining us from Spain. It's our first guest from Spain, and I couldn't be happier. It just goes to show you that that people around the world are interested in the kind of topics that we discuss on Topic UFO. Now, Carlos is, I believe, part of an association which is called the Alcione Association, and they have a book out that he's going to be talking to us about. It's a free book. They'll send it to anybody. And it's regarding this red planet. They also call it Hercolubus, I believe is the pronunciation. I'll ask Carlos when he gets on if I'm pronouncing that right. But it should be a very interesting conversation. So let's go ahead and see if Carlos is out there. Carlos, are you out there, sir?
Hello, Rick. Yes, I am.
Very good. Carlos, how are you today?
Thanks very much. Very well, thank you. Very happy to be here with you, and thanks very much for that opportunity to be amongst your viewers and listeners and with you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, Carlos, why don't we start off with, I guess, the most important question. What is Hercolubus, and am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, you are saying that correctly. Yes, Hercolubus or Hercolubus. Yeah, that is the name. I'm going to talk about, from the book Hercolubus or Red Planet, which we are, as you said, sending for free worldwide. And I'm going to explain a little bit what is in the book. And the writer V.M. Brabolu, he tried to convey, he wrote the essential part or definition of that topic, Hercolubus, and all what this planet is going to bring about. So that is a planet. It's also referred as Nibiru, as you said. Some people call it Planet X or Marduk or Nemesis. Hercolubus is actually a planet that comes near to our solar system periodically, every several thousand of years, and that is going to cause great changes on our Earth, on our planet, both geological and also about climate. So Hercolubus is a big planet that is approaching our solar system.
And from what I understand, this red planet is extremely large, 5 to 6 times the size of Jupiter. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Now, I've had people tell me in the past that this red planet was actually some type of space vehicle where some type of entity was controlling it as far as how it moved and where it was going. Is there any truth to that, or is that just an internet myth?
Well, well, according to the author of that book, Hercolubus has its own humanity. So there are beings on that planet. Um, but I mean, the author doesn't give any other description, just saying that there is a humanity and that um, it would be bad to attack that planet, trying to destroy it once it is closer to us. So trying to deflect it, because now there are many devices already being tried to deflect meteorites,
Right.
and eventually it's going to be tried against Hercolubus as well. But that would be a mistake, according to the author of the Emperor. So it has its own humanity. It's not a good, or would say um, high consciousness level humanity. It's just as we are. I mean, not ideal humanity, we would say. I mean, they've got the weapons and all that.
I see. I see. Now, I think you said that the red planet. I take it must have its own orbit, and every few thousand of years it comes around and I guess gets very close to us here on Earth. What what is the significance besides that? Besides the fact that this planet is supposedly going to be orbiting in such a way that it's going to come close to Earth, it could disrupt, I guess, gravitational pulls, magnetic fields, that type of thing.
Yeah.
What is the other, or are there any other significant things about this that would cause a group such as this Alcione Association to give away a free book describing this red planet?
Yeah, you are right. I mean, besides that, or behind that topic of Hercolubus, the main, I would say, the main issue is that our humanity needs to be, I would say, changed, or needs to undergo a big change, a radical change, because we are at the end of a cycle. We haven't done well, actually. We've almost destroyed um, the environment is dying. Our environment. There are several thousands of signs of that, and we are growing towards a direction which is a wrong one, definitely the wrong one. So a change. I mean, the whole universe is in harmony. In harmony, the
Right.
whole universe has got an intelligence above. So we are not going towards the right direction. So that's going to be changed definitely. We are already provoking, causing a lot of changes in our environment. There are climate change, there are uh, species extinction. But along that process, the approach of Hercolubus is going to accelerate. It's going to boost, uh, for example, a pole shift, and it's going to boost a change of sea and land. I mean, layout. We would say that, and that's definitely what is going to cause the change. I mean, our civilization is going to disappear. Part of that, I mean, the great part, and then another cycle, another civilization is going to start, superior one, definitely, at a higher level, and that is the main task, quote, of Hercolubus. That's a sort of a reason about Hercolubus coming towards our solar system and causing all those changes to our Earth.
So I understand, the scientific part of this, if some great celestial body uh, came into our universe, of course it would invoke havoc. Of course, a pole shift would be, you know, extremely dramatic. What what is it that we can do? I mean, does this book that the Alcione Association puts out, does it tell people what can be done to change this, or is it just inevitable that this is going to happen and they're trying to prepare you for death and beyond? I'm still a little confused there.
Well, yeah. I mean, that small book, I'm going to show it to the viewers. Small book, Hercolubus or Red Planet, which is given by the Alcione Association for free. Just need to request it from any of our websites, of our pages.
Okay.
That book explains what is going to happen, what is coming, but also explains the way out. And actually, the way out, the escape, is a good preparation, internal preparation of everybody, of any person who freely chooses to do that. I mean, if our civilization goes towards the wrong direction, is because each and every person of us are going, or most of us are going towards the wrong direction internally. We are actually in a state of sleepness, we would say. We are not awakened. We are not, using our consciousness, and that needs to be changed. And the internal preparation is going to open within us. The consciousness is going to awaken us. And imagine if millions of people would do that. I mean, we would change the course of action, the course of events, of course. But if we don't do that, I mean, the events are going to happen, are going to occur as it is expected. But all those who prepare themselves internally will be able to have, we would say, another opportunity, or to be safe from those great events, those dramatic events. And that is where the UFO or the extraterrestrial beings are coming into action, because they know, the author as well, the Hercolubus, talks about the extraterrestrial beings as a superior civilization coming from several planets. They know us internally. They are in a higher consciousness level, and they are going to help all those people who here in Earth are working internally to awaken, because that is the only way to save humanity and to save our planet. And of course, that book gives the keys. It would be, I mean, cruel if the book would explain all the dramatic things that are going to happen and didn't give any clue or any key to work. So there are some chapters about spiritual awakening, internal awakening, consciousness awakening, and also about astral projection, which is also an important tool that everybody would need to use, would have to know. So in that small book, there are several topics, all written as in essence, Hercolubus, extraterrestrial civilizations, and also the way to prepare ourselves internally, which is the only tool that we have now, because all the events are, they are already too forward. I mean, the course of events is quite advanced, so it's hard now to change that.
So the original author of this book, believe, went by a name V.M. Robolu, Robolu,
Rabulu.
Robolu.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, he was the one that originally wrote this book, correct?
Yes, he was. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and where did he get this information or this
Yeah.
insight
There's
to
insight.
write
Yeah.
such a book?
Well, he was one of those people with awakened consciousness, with faculties of the consciousness, such as some clairvoyancy or astral travel. Also, he was in contact with alien beings several times, both physically, both astrally. So he got all that information, and he decided to give it very well summarized and very well. I mean, without useless aspects, to give it to humanity. So he got all that information, and he's writing that in a very clear way in that book. So we could get all that information actually if we worked upon ourselves, if we used the astral travel wisely, if we were able to see beyond as he did. So that information is actually available to any of us as long as we work to awaken internally. So that's also an important aspect. That is not an information reserved for some people only, and that's available to anyone.
So this civilization that lives, or this society that lives on the red planet. Now, are they seeing upcoming detrimental things happening to their planet as it comes closer to Earth as well, or is it just the Earth that is going to
Well,
see the negatives?
yeah, because of the huge
Size.
size of that planet. I mean, it is the Earth, the one that is gonna suffer the influence of that big planet. I mean, the gravitational force from Hercolubus, it's going to change our planet. It's going to change the the pole is going the pole now order is going to make a pole shift and move all the waters in the oceans and make big changes and also it's going, for example, it's gonna move all the magma within the volcanoes. So volcanic activity is going to increase greatly. So it is us who are going to suffer
I see.
that approach.
And Carlos, what or why did you become interested in this topic? Was it something that just dawned on you one day? You read something, you saw something on television. How did you become interested in
Yeah,
this topic of the red planet?
yeah, well, that's a thing that some years ago I started to read from V.M. Rabulu, read some other books that he wrote in the 90s. So and then started to practice what he taught in those books, which was, I mean, the same that he explains now in Hercolubus of Red Planet book, and also some other techniques. So I saw that those were true techniques, true teachings, true advice. So I then came across the book. I mean, I knew about the book Hercolubus of Red Planet. So with other people with similar interests, we formed the Alcione Association here in Spain, and we decided to spread that word, that message, by sending free books all over the world, which we've been doing for several years already.
And how many books do you think you've distributed over the last few
Well,
years?
um, I mean, if we take into account all the publishings that have been carried out in some countries as well, publishers that have taken that book and and published in the countries and put it in bookshops, then with the several 100,000 that we have sent for free,
Wow.
so we would have maybe 1 million books
Wow.
already published, but maybe half of them or more than half of them maybe sent for free.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we're getting a lot of support and also good feedback from people all over the world, from any country. I mean, there's no difference, even with countries of different religions, different races, different societies. There are always people interested in that topic, and also people who know a lot of things and they don't say anything. And once they come across that book, they write back and say, "Well, that's exactly what I knew, but I didn't dare to talk about to anybody about that because I thought it was crazy." So when they say that when they came across the book, I just read that it coincided with what I already knew inside me. So there's good feedback, and so we are carrying out the task because we are seeing that it helps people and people a lot. So we are going to continue with that.
I see. So let me just ask you point blank here, Carlos. Is this book and these beliefs within this book, does this all break down to some type of religious messaging, or is this truly something beyond religion?
Well, it's definitely beyond religion. I mean, it's knowledge, it's universal knowledge, and that exists in any planet. What is explained, I mean, about the psychological aspect of us, what is explained about the astral world and the dimensions above us, that is universal. It doesn't belong to any religion.
I
Although
see.
some religions may have talked about that in their origin mainly, but that's definitely beyond any religion or belief. I mean, that's not a belief. What we are not believers. I mean, we are practical people. We are trying to be practical people and to know by ourselves. That's the main difference with maybe believers or religions that are happy with believing, which is also a, a good option, but that goes beyond actually.
Okay.
The, so,
Okay. Um, so where is the red planet right now? Is it, are they able to track it? Is somebody tracking this thing on a daily basis?
yeah, well, I'm not an astronomer, but there are some astronomers who are tracking. I mean, that planet. Some astronomers, but I mean, there's a lot of, mm, I mean, silence about that. I mean, there's no news talking about this. Um, some astronomers from specific stations, telescopes, already know that, but nothing is nothing is told about that. Nothing is spread because, of course, it would cause panic uh, worldwide. So it's better not to say anything. I mean, from the government point of view, of course.
And your fear would be that the governments of this planet would take the option of trying to destroy or break up this planet, much the way they would do an asteroid. Is that your fear?
Well, that could happen here. I mean, they could try to destroy it at some point when it's closer. But I don't know more about that. I mean, I don't know which stage is this now. I mean, the preparations. But I think that huge planet uh, will not be deflected. It's impossible. I mean,
It's just too big, right? You're
it's
saying.
too big. It's too
Mhm.
big. It's not an asteroid. It's too big.
So are we talking about some type of end of times uh, prediction? I mean, is this
Yeah,
behind this whole red planet subject?
yeah. Mhm.
It
It
is.
is a sort of end of times scenario. It is because um, we're not we're not going, as I said before, towards the right direction. Something needs to be done because I mean, with all the nuclear weapons that are spread on our planet, we could blow up the Earth at any time.
Right.
I mean, just it's some time and people just getting a bit angry with each other. Some governments. So there's a potential risk that this could happen, and of course that will not be allowed from superior forces. That will not be allowed. So all that needs to be stopped and start again because our Earth needs to have some more civilizations on it. I mean, its cycle is not ended. So that comes to stop our civilization. So it's an end time, but not a total end times. It's end time of this civilization and start again.
I see. Okay. So, I don't think there is anybody in the world today that would not agree that a lot of the things that we're doing are not to the benefit of the planet. We're raping the resources, we're polluting the waters, we're polluting the air. But on the other hand, and I'm sure you get this question a lot, Carlos, if you go out and do just a very quick search on the internet, you can see that since the since the beginning of time, there have been hundreds of end of times or doomsday predictions. None, which of course has ever come true. What is your response to to that statement, or to somebody that would make that statement to you?
Mhm. Well, my response would be actually to reflect deeply about our situation now, and then, of course, I would say just start to awaken internally, awaken consciousness, because our consciousness, which is now sleeping, actually, we are living with small part of our essence or potential consciousness. Consciousness, I mean, understood as a faculties or wisdom that we can develop. So if we start to work, we will understand that, of course, there have been more end times scenarios or prophecies before, but now we are in a very crucial time that has not been um, like before. I mean,
Right.
we haven't been in the brink. You say in the brink of destruction globally as we are now. I mean, in Middle Ages, when the first 1,000 years changed, I mean, the scenario was very different. People thought maybe the end of the civilization would come because there was a change of millennium.
Right.
But now, I mean, it's not a change of millennium. It's not a date. It's because the situation is really serious, and internally, humanity, although most people are okay. I mean, just working and having family and living a peaceful life. There is a lot of evil now on Earth. I mean, we have to look at everything. I mean, all directions, and we'll see that there's a lot of wrongdoing, and that is growing. I mean, that is growing because our consciousness is more and more slept every time.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to awaken. That's urgent. That book, Hercolubus over a Planet, helps us to do that, but it's always a personal and a private choice. I mean, nobody has to do that because of obligation, but it is our way of escape, is our door, is our door to escape the present situation. So it's I would recommend that anyone at least reads and starts to practice what is in that small book, and then they will see the results. I mean, that's nothing to believe on, it's just something to practice.
Well, results will always tell the truth, won't they?
That's right, yeah. Results speak by themselves.
Exactly.
There's nothing to say about them.
So Carlos, where can people, number one, if they wanted to read more about this subject, and or if they wanted to get a copy of this free book, where could they go? Where could they go to get that?
Well, we are working through internet mainly because in some countries we've got the book, placed book in bookshops, but the most important part of work is through internet. We've got several websites.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one is, for example, www.planetahercolubus.com. Planeta is all a single word. Planeta is planet with the A, and then Hercolubus, Planeta Hercolubus, Hercolubus with H and B.com. Then we've got theawakeningconsciousness.com, theawakeningconsciousness.com.
Mm-hmm.
Then in several languages, there are several languages there. You can choose any languages you wish to read. Then we've got, for example, www.hercolubus.tv with some interesting video.
Oh, wow. You guys have really
Yeah, we've got. Then another one is hercolubusplanet.com. That's with several pages with testimonials as well. You'll be able to read testimonials. So in hercolubusplanet.com. And then there's another one, astral-projection.info.
Wow.
So it's www.astral-projection.info.
All right. Well,
So several languages as well available there. In any of those sites, you'll be able to fill a form and then request a free book, which is sent anywhere. You need to give a postal address because the book is in hard copy. There's no PDF or online copy because the author.
You actually send people a hard copy of the book?
Yeah, we send a hard copy through post service.
Wow.
Yeah, we're working because the author didn't want the book to be on PDF or Word version because he didn't want the book to be manipulated or changed or cut into pieces and all that. So it's only the authorized version is a hard copy. So it's that book actually is what I was showing you.
Uh-huh.
It's 56 pages. Can be read. I mean, in an hour or less. But to practice it, we need a whole life. So, I mean, the information here is very concise and it's mainly practical. Some chapters are information, as I told you about Hercolubus and extraterrestrial life. Quite interesting, the chapter about extraterrestrial life, because that's the beings, the aliens are, we would say, the almost the ideal humanity, because as the author describes, there's no wars there, there's no ego there, there's no ego, no hatred, no pain. There's, as he says, they live an angelic life, an angelic life, the one that we would be able to live if we awakened our consciousness. So that is for us the model, we could say, in which we can also think of and work to achieve that. So, and then there are two practical chapters, one about the psychological work, what the author calls the elimination of psychological defects, and then the astral projection. And with those two tools, elimination of the defects and the astral projection, we will awaken internally, and that will give us actually freedom and more knowledge. So it's a very interesting work to do, and I recommend it to anyone who's interested. So you can fill the form in any of those pages, and then give a postal address. Any postal address, could be your home, could be a friend's home, could be, and then a book will be sent there in the language that you choose as well in the form.
Yeah, I noticed that on your websites, they're probably, once you get to the homepage, you can choose from, I think, about 8 different languages. Automatically translates the website to your language. So it's truly an international appeal. Huh?
Yeah, it is.
Well, listen, Carlos, we've unfortunately come to the end of our time here, but I wanted to thank you for spending some time with us, explaining to us a little bit about this red planet.
You're welcome. Thanks to you.
Oh, well, no problem on my side. I hope you continue to keep your sending of the books going, and I hope that all works out well for you. Now, how do you take care of the costs of mailing these books all over the world?
Well, yeah, our association is made of people. People that joined it freely.
Uh-huh.
Every one of us has got their own job.
Right.
I mean, we don't get any grant or help from governments or administration, so it's all comes from our personal contribution.
Private donation.
Private donations. We also get some people. I mean, people who write to us through that feedback I was saying to you, and they say, "Well, I would like to help you. How can I help you?" And we say, "Well, just you can do as you wish. Just spread the word, or publish in some media, or just send a piece of writing to a newspaper." Some of them, they say, "Well, I want to give you some money to pay for the books." Okay, we say that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, all the contributions are used for the books to print, and then to pay for the packaging and the post service.
Yeah,
and that's it. I mean, everybody in our association lives on their own job. I mean, normal job and everyday job.
Right. Well, very good.
So it's a non-profit.
Yes, understood. Well, listen, again, Carlos, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Like I said, you were our first guest from Spain, so congratulations and thank you.
That's an honor. Thanks to you.
Yes,
that's an honor.
Yes, it was quite nice having you on tonight, and we'll stay in touch. And
yes, of course.
If you ever would like to come back on with any updates to this situation, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you very much.
All right, Carlos. You have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too. All the best, and thank you for everything.
You are welcome.
Thanks. Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night. Good night. Bye.
Good night.
Open the door, you'll find the secret. To find the answer is to keep it. You'll believe it when you find something screaming across your mind. Green slime.
Carlos, are you out there, sir?
Hello, Rick. Yes, I am.
Very good. Carlos, how are you today?
Thanks very much. Very well. Thank you. Very happy to be here with you, and thanks very much for that opportunity to be amongst your viewers and listeners and with you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, Carlos, why don't we start off with, I guess, the most important question. What is Hercolubus, and am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, you are saying that correctly. Yes, Hercolubus or Hercolubus. Yeah, that is the name. I'm going to talk about, from the book Hercolubus or Red Planet, which we are, as you said, sending for free worldwide. And I'm going to explain a little bit what is in the book. And the writer, V.M. Brabolu, he tried to convey, he wrote the essential part or definition of that topic, Hercolubus, and all what this planet is going to bring about.
Greetings, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Topic UFO. I am your host, Rick Schooler. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Red Planet. Now, for those of you that have been watching Topic UFO for some time now, you'll know that we've touched on this subject before in the past. But to be honest with you, I've always heard so many definitions regarding this topic. Where some type of entity was controlling it as far as how it moved and where it was going. Is there any truth to that, or is that just an internet myth?
Well, according to the author of that book, Hercolubus has its own humanity. So there are beings on that planet. But the author doesn't give any other description, just saying that there is a humanity and that it would be bad to attack that planet, trying to destroy it once it is closer to us. So trying to deflect it, because now there are many devices already being tried to deflect meteorites,
right.
And eventually it's going to be tried against Hercolubus as well, but that would be a mistake, according to the author of V.M. Brabolu. So it has its own humanity. It's not a good, or would say a high consciousness level humanity. So that is a planet. Is also referred as Nibiru, as you said. Some people call it Planet X or Marduk or Nemesis. Hercolubus is actually a planet that comes near to our solar system periodically. every several thousand of years, and that is going to cause great changes on our Earth, on our planet, both geological and also about climate. So Hercolubus is a big planet that is approaching our solar system.
And from what I understand, this red planet is extremely large, 5 to 6 times the size of Jupiter. Is that
That's
correct?
correct. Yeah.
Now, I've had people tell me in the past that this red planet was actually some type of space vehicle. Was a little confusing for me, to say the least. But tonight, our guest is Carlos Esquerda, and he is going to be joining us from Spain. It's our first guest from Spain, and I couldn't be happier. It just goes to show you that people around the world are interested in the kind of topics that we discuss on topic UFO. Now, Carlos is, I believe, part of an association which is called the Alcione Association, and they have a book out that he's going to be talking to us about. It's a free book. They'll send it to anybody, and it's regarding this red planet. They also call it Hercolubus, I believe is the pronunciation. I'll ask Carlos when he gets on if I'm pronouncing that right. But it should be a very interesting conversation. So let's go ahead and see if Carlos is out there.